I'm doing the big major beats first. So what I do is I find my peaks and my valleys first. So what I'll do is I'll get like this pose working right here, and then this pose working, and then this pose working. Okay, so just get these three, your up, down, up, working first, just in posing. Then I'll go in there in between, just like you guys did when we rotoscoped your spheres on the video. You know, maybe you did frame by frame, maybe you just kind of did your main poses and then went in there and kind of filled them in. Um, are there, excuse me, are there certain moves you're going to do that you're going to have to frame by frame? Absolutely, like no doubt about it. Absolutely, you're going to have to go in there and frame by frame certain moves. But for something like this, get the main peaks and valleys in there first, because you know you have to make this shape. This has got to look good, this has got to look good, and this has got to look good. Okay?
Okay.
Then go in there. Now remember, hey, everything I said, you get this working first. Okay, because this middle controller is going to fly up and do whatever the hell it's going to do. Okay,
Yeah.
so get that first, then do the middle. Same thing with the neck, you know, inside of here. You kind of have your head here. There's that middle one inside of here, right? As you do it, it's going to do all sorts of fun, crazy stuff. So get this
Yeah.
working first, get this working, then smooth it out. But if you go in a sync sketch, if you make some things inside of Maya, I've even done times where I actually just created like tubes inside of Maya and just had
Right.
them kind of follow it. That works too. Okay.
Okay.
I would rather you guys push these into it looking like he's like a roller coaster, and then we can offset it and then move things around that kind of, you know, release us from that, you know, almost like a ribbon underwater. We can remove that from that ribbon underwater feeling, but we got to get close to that smoothness for this particular character. Okay.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So with the head specifically, it's okay. You just tend to use that as an IK and translate it. You don't use the neck control and sort of pivot that.
Yeah. So I rotate it, right? So like as we're doing our like up, like or down right here, right? The head
Yeah.
is pointed this way, head's pointed here, head's pointed straight, head's kind of looking up a little bit, right? Head's looking up, head's looking up, head's kind of straightening out, head's straightening out, head's looking down, right? So you almost, you know, you want that nose to point where he's going to go, and the body almost follows it. Okay. But what I do is I'll go in there and I'll get what I need to do with the translation first. Then I'll move the chest and rotate the chest. Is he going up? Yeah, rotate the chest up. See how much
Okay.
that brings the head a little bit with it. If you need to translate it, yeah, go ahead and translate it a little bit. Okay. Same thing with down. You know, bring the chest down, because again, the head, you know, if you're getting a shape like this has to work and this has to work. If those two things don't work, it doesn't matter what's happening here, doesn't matter what's happening here. Okay,
Yeah.
meaning the head and the tail. You get this arc to work nicely and beautifully, right? And get this working really, really, really nicely. If this is rotated down and the neck is doing some weird thing where it's kind of coming up here or doing that, at least this is pointed the right way. So it's going to help this just a little bit. Okay, then you can translate that down. One thing I do too, if I'm not sure, is I will, for example, be like, okay, just take this head right here, go up to your attribute editor, zero out translation and rotation. And it probably ends up doing something like this, like straight ahead, right? And then I go, okay, well, at least there's nothing on it. So what's the minimal amount? Well, first I do rotation, and you could do rotation as much as you want, doesn't matter. So first I'll be like, okay, let me rotate this down first. All right, now I kind of, it's kind of working, but maybe you kind of have a shape like this. You're like, okay, the head's technically pointing the right way, but then we got this weird thing going on here. Okay,
Yeah.
then I'll just translate it down just a little bit to get that to feel smooth. Okay, but don't start translating and all that stuff right away, because then you're going to get your neck flying kind of all over the place. So get your chest working first.
Okay.
All right, this and then work on the head. Then if you can have, you know, your head working, your chest working, and your pelvis working, if you can get these three things lining up, all this that's happening in between here, That's all just that middle controller just massaging that into place.
Mm-hmm.
So once you massage that into place, then it, starts to connect. Okay, but you got to get these three things lining up in an arc. And I know it takes practice. You almost got to kind of delete this section and this section out of your brain, right? You kind of have to squint your eyes a little bit and go, is the head aligning to the chest, to the pelvis? Can I draw that line? I can? Cool. Okay. That feels good. Then you untangle it. Cool.